Hello, and welcome to an overview of the Publishing Goblins Oracle Dice. My name is Seven, and in this video I want to show you how the dice work and what they come with. Right now we're heading to a crowdfunding project on May 1st for the third and final edition of the Oracle Dice. When you purchase the dice set, you will actually receive a flip open box that's very much like the one here that I used for the Alleyway Tarot. It had a magnet seal, and it will look like the image that I'm flashing on the screen here. I've designed it fully. It's all ready to go. We just haven't made them yet. Inside, it holds a guidebook, which will walk you through how to read the dice. This is the second edition book here. It is a chunky 260 pages. It is full color so that you can compare the edges here to the colors of the dice to help you figure out what die is which. In this case, this is the suits die, the obstacles die. It just makes it a little faster to find what you're looking for, which is really lovely. The third edition guidebook is going to be updated a little bit. It'll be a little bit longer, hopefully not too much longer. And there's also going to be cheat sheet cards that come with the book. These cheat sheet cards will color code to the dice just like the book did, and especially when you're learning, you will grab the card that is associated with the die that you're going to be rolling with, and that way you just have an easy way to look it up. There'll also be text right here that says what page and what guidebook you can find it in. This is going to be a really easy, quick reference that will help you learn the dice a lot faster. And when you're further along with the dice, it's still helpful to have a little reminder. So these are going to be great. The box set also comes with this two-sided reading cloth. So on this side, you can see the seasons. We have spring, winter, summer, and autumn. On the other side, we actually have a past, present, future kind of spread. So depending on what kind of answers you're seeking, you can use the different sides of this cloth. And it is a cloth. It's very, very scrunchy, and you could wad it up and throw it anywhere. And generally speaking, you'll be able to just lay it out, unfold it, and smooth it, and it's always going to be great. It's also incredibly soft. This is such a great cloth. I love it so much. And then, of course, there's the 22 dice set. This is the 22 dice set from the second edition. The guide, cloth, and 22 dice set is now our season set. This is important because we actually have a new 22 dice set that isn't quite produced yet, obviously. This is my little prototype with stickers on all the faces. This new set is the Keykeeper set, and what you're seeing on screen are the renders of these gorgeous new dice. They are the Keykeeper set. They'll have their own guidebook, their own two-sided cloth that will have different grids than this one, and of course they'll come in their own box and have their own little cheat sheets. I'm really, really excited about these, but these are the bread and butter, so let's talk about them a little bit. But first, there's so many other things that come with the dice. I would be remiss to not note that in the second edition, we added lords to them. So each die has a lord. So for example, the showman here has the attentions die. The attentions die talks about illumination of things and how much illumination you want there to be. Quivering Monarch, of course, has the Monarch's die, the Metamorphosis die. This is the butterfly, the life of a monarch butterfly. And there are 22 of these. But, yes, they are cards. They come in the Die Face Oracle. The Die Face Oracle is an oracle deck of all the dice faces. They have different backgrounds depending on what die they're from, but it is another way to read the dice symbols if you're so interested. And in this new edition, these dice faces will also come with the lords inside for each of their sets. But they are not the only extras that you can get, of course. There is a reading journal, which is super fantastic. The reading journal has the grids inside, and you can mark where the dice end up. This is the second edition, so I am looking into ways to update this guidebook to include all the new dice. And there are also these incredible wooden boxes, and what do you know? Stone dice. These stone dice are made out of real stone. They're etched and inked just like the dice. But these boxes are just super gorgeous. I custom designed them. And yeah, they hold your dice sets in them. There's actually the first edition dice set right in here with a bunch of random d6s to fill out the space. Very excited about these. And there's actually a new chest which can hold everything in it. Both dice sets, their claws, their guidebooks, the decks of cards can actually fit in the new chest. And that you'll have to see on the crowdfunding campaign. But you are here to look at dice. So let's talk about dice. These are the 22 dice of the Seasons set. But generally speaking, you won't want to read all 22 dice. Now, you will often want to read in the Seasons set, and this will surprise you, the Seasons dice. This is spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So I'm going to show you a really quick reading with the 4 dice to get you an idea of how this works, and then we'll fold in some more and do another reading. So whenever you're going to do a reading, you're going to pick out the dice that most connect to your question. For the Seasons set, I always read with the Seasons dice included. So you're going to shake them up and cast them down right in the center. Now already I'm seeing some really important things. On your grid, you have different areas and different zones that speak to different things. So typically I would start in the core. We don't have anything in the core. This usually means that the question or the answer to your querent's question has no central main theme, and it's more general. Over here in mind, I see the summer die. This is the celestial face. It's the star in tarot. We're talking about goals and long distance hopes. Because this is the summer die and it's in the spring quarter, I would usually say this means it's coming earlier than it should. To me, this reads as there are hopes and dreams present, but what they are for are things that probably aren't going to come to fruition for a while, and it's not worthwhile living entirely thinking around what could happen one day. There's still a lot necessary to do today. Over here in body, I would say that mind is the internal. Mind and spirit. Mind is what you're thinking internally. Spirit is how you're feeling internally. Body is going to be how you are putting yourself out into the world. And this is the works face of the autumn die. You can see this lovely set of symbols here. And it being here is telling me that there is a lot of labor needed to be done. I am seeing again that it's the autumn die and it's in summer instead of autumn. It's coming a little earlier than expected. And also the spring die is over here in summer and it's coming a little late than expected. This is the disrepair phase. Not only do you have work to do, but I would say that you're probably getting to the work early right now because things are kind of falling apart in some ways. Disrepair isn't necessarily things are decrepit. It means that you haven't been paying attention to things and you haven't been working on them very hard. I would say that it's very likely this suggests that some of the work that you're trying to do right now is work that maybe should have been done earlier, but now you're like making up for it, catching up on it, and trying to move forward. Tying that in with the star over here, I would really say that it seems you're constantly thinking about things too late, or you're pushing things too early. You're not letting things be very timely lately. In material is typically how the world is physically affecting you, but there's nothing here. So we're going to continue over. This is the winter die. It is in the winter quarter, but it's also in winter, which is to say it's not in this section that says spirit. It's out here in winter. When things are out in the seasons, I usually say that that means it's something more overarching. It's not necessarily specific to you. It might be a theme that's happening beyond yourself, and as a result, it's affecting you. This is the reflection face of the winter die. This face is super lovely, but it does mean probably exactly what you think it means. It means that you need to reflect. It's time for self-reflection in some way. Now, altogether, I would say that because this is in winter, it seems like a lot of people are probably in that place. And that's maybe why you're working so hard. You've done some self-reflecting. It's kind of been in the air. And you came to the resolution that, like, you need to get ahead of things, but you also have to solve previous things. But also, you're not really thinking about the previous things. You're only ever thinking about the future. There's a lot of living outside of time right now. And the best way to probably resolve that is to stop having this be out here and have it be here. While there's been a lot of self-reflection, and maybe you've done some, there's definitely space for you to bring this into yourself personally so that you can begin to make sure that the work you're doing is what's present and not just always what's waiting ahead. Now, this is a very quick and dirty reading, but you can see how these dice, where they land on the grid and what they have to say, can already create really complicated and unique, nuanced readings. Now, let's say that I want to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to add the relations, the elements, the attentions. Let's add longings. Now, typically I would ask, like, what kind of question do you have? And I'd try to base my dice I grab on that. But there's nothing wrong, of course, with just grabbing a handful of dice and rolling to see what happens. So let's take a look. All right. Now, it didn't really leave the table, but it did leave camera. So this is the winter die in winter again. When dice leave the table, it actually does mean something. This is Memento face, by the way. It's super gorgeous. Amy Smith redid all the symbols for the second edition. They look so great. When a die leaves the table, or the cloth in particular, it becomes a lost die. That just means that it's something that is coming back around later in time. It is on its own journey, and when it comes to you, it's going to have some important information. But for our reading, it actually did land in winter, just the very edge of the cloth off screen. So I'll move it up just a little so you can see it. So again, we have no core, but that's okay. There's also a number of things that you can read based on how the dice land together. If I had had more dice in this reading, or if they just rolled a little differently, we could have had something end up like right over here. This I would view as a triangle. If it landed here, I would view these three as a triangle. Triangles can mean different things. If dice land in a triangle like this, I would say that this one is supporting these two, and that whatever this represents is causing these things to continue existing in your life. And if they're good, then you want to make sure you keep this going. If they're bad, you have to realize there's a linchpin you need to remove. Alternatively, if it went like this, you'd understand that these are the stable legs of this thing that only gets to exist in the reading because of these. You can also end up with circles. So if they had ended up like this, that would mean that they're a continuing circle together. This, removing the extra dice I was adding, this is already kind of a line. And when I have lines, it usually means this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this. So let's take a look. Core, nothing. So we go to mind. We have work. It's autumn again. Because it is in its opposite season, spring as opposed to autumn, I would say that it's a little less important here. It's a little less impactful. But it does tell me that you, the royal you of this reading, whoever it's for, is thinking about work a lot, but they're not actually doing a lot with it. Way over here, out in spring, we have two dice. This is the longings die. Come on, beauty influencer. This is the longings die. This is the need to be held. And this is the elements die. And this is water. It's just on its side a little bit. These, not quite that close together, but these way out here do suggest to me, especially with their closeness to woe, that there's a longing to be held that is felt throughout maybe your whole life or your current situation, or everything you're thinking about is always like, I wish there was something here that could hold me and make me feel at home or safe. And then the ocean there, rather the water, speaks to the way that there's a lot to water. It is very malleable. It can fit its container easily, but it also has incredible depths. These being that close to each other and then near woe is suggesting that the level to which this need to be held or understood or seen or safe is really, really huge. And I would say that's why you're struggling quite a bit to work at this moment. You're thinking about how to be productive, but really what you want is human connection or some sense of community or safety. Now in body, we have the rejection face, which tells me quite a story right there, right? This is the relations die, which relates to relations, how people are affecting the reading. Body is how you're putting stuff out in the world. Because there's rejection here tied to you and how you're putting things in the world, I would go so far as to say that you, the querent, is the one who has actually rejected people. And that's a really troubling thing because you want that. You want people, you want connection, but you are still rejecting people. There's probably a lot to unpack there, but we'll see if there's some more over here. We have the seed from the spring die over here in summer. Seed means things that are starting anew and growing. And of course, coming here in summer as opposed to spring is suggesting to me that it's coming a little late. And just after there was rejection here, I am seeing that there's probably a rejection of either advances, it could be friendship, it could be romantic. But the seed of that friendship is starting late, and the rejection probably isn't helping that. You may be pushing people away, even as that's the one thing you really want. Over here in material, we have the summer die. This is the sun itself. It is just like the sun in tarot. It's about enjoying things and feeling fulfillment and celebration under the guise of the sun. It's a super lovely die that has a bunch of different fun summery things to it. But this is what's coming into you. It seems like maybe other people are really celebrating. Maybe you're feeling a little disconnected from other people, and that's what leads you to reject them, even if you don't mean to. Your manner of acting might be pushing people away, even as you really, really want them to be there more than anything. If we come over here to spirit and winter, we see a couple of things. I see the closet in spirit, and that is woof. The attentions die deals with the attentions that you want things to be given or what they are being given. The closet is where you put things you don't want people to find, but that you feel like is going to get out eventually. It is an anxiety space for sure. Like there's the hole. This is the hole, which means that it's something that you have shoved down a deep dark hole and it's never going to come out, and you don't expect it to. You don't live thinking about it. In fact, you forget it as much as possible. The closet's the kind of opposite of that. Something you put away because you don't want people to know, but it will eventually get out and you do live in anxiety of it. There's some kind of connection to this community that you are not letting yourself experience. Some of that is maybe self-doubt or uncertainty. And way out here, memento being in winter is suggesting to me that people may be passing, either passing on or exiting out of your life, or, just life changing. This is stuff that's really weighed on you, but it is not deeply in your mind or heart. It's not something that you think about. It's just something that is coloring everything you do. And as a result, you're keeping something to yourself that you really need to stop doing. It's preventing you from experiencing community with other people. And while you try to keep yourself busy, you're trying to work instead. It's just not quite working out. So that is how quickly more complicated the readings can get when you go up to 8 dice. Now, I'm not going to read all 22, but you can see that you can grab them all and you could do quite an intense reading. I usually avoid doing 22 dice, but there is all of these things to choose from. And now in the new edition, of course, we have 22 new dice that are also going to be options. And while the sets are going to kind of exist on their own, there's nothing stopping you from, if you bought both, putting them together, picking things that you want out of them, And the unique thing about the third edition of dice here with the Keykeeper set is that we actually have 7 dice, which are the keys dice, and these will be kind of like the seasons over here. You will generally start readings of the keys dice with these 7, or you will almost always just read with these 7. Then there's the 5 Black Lantern dice. The Black Lantern dice are super great, but they focus on grief and fear and trauma a little more than anything else. We have the Housewives dice, which are focused on community and tradition and what is home. We also have a standard D6. It won't look like this. It actually has numbers written on it, but it comes alongside these 3, which some of you may recognize from the Alleyway Oracles. These are the Games Takers dice. I can show you the lords on screen now for these dice sets, because there are 11 lords in this set of dice here, because one has all these, one has all these, one has all these, and then there's 7 unique ones here. There's also a 12-sided die in the Keykeeper set, just like the Chaos die. And it is the zodiac symbols. So you have all that to look forward to. I thank you so much for checking out the video, and hopefully I will see you on May 1st over on BackerKit. Ta-ta for now.